The company, if you have heard of Nimtex previously, we have already been in the market since 2006. We actually started off in Australia, and in 2012 or 2016, we actually moved our HQ to Bellevue. So as of now, right, we are actually one of the largest privately held software vendor in process automation. That's one. We are serving more than 50% of the Fortune 500 companies with a high customer satisfaction NPS of 75 plus. Then aside from that, we are having about 200 million annual occurring revenue. And we, in terms of the worldwide team staff strength itself, we have about 800 team members worldwide. We also have, if I'm not wrong, is about maybe 800 over partners worldwide that we work very closely with. Yeah. Aside from that, the mission in Nimtex itself is to improve the way people work through process management and automation. And our core tenets is to deliver our commitment. Don't wait, because we are there to help customers to fix their issue that they have with regards to automation as well as digitization. And last but not least, we operate with a respect and consideration manner. So when I talk about things like our company is one of the largest in process automation, reason being is that if you have been in the Nimtex news, the community itself, right? You might know that as of end of last year, Nimtex actually acquired another company called K2. K2 is actually another BPM product itself. Then as of last month, we also acquire another digital signature company called Assure Sign. So with that, right, it actually helps in do a complete solution in automation as well as digitization. We are also one of the high scoring product in Forrester Wave in 2019. Before we even add on our RPA capabilities.
I'll start off for this particular session. So we listened a little bit about what Nimtex can do for us. It's more on their company. And then for this particular session is a chatting sessions. We have Evelyn. She's the Nimtex Asia Territory Manager, right? So this session is actually a very good session for us to pretty much pick her brain, right, for all our questions that we want, right? I do have a few lists of checklists for her, but at the same time, if you guys have any particular questions in terms of business processes, digitalizations, right, and do throw in the chat group, right, and then Evelyn can address as we go along, right? Because as we know, Nimtex is total end-to-end solutions for business processes. Means it covers from the start point, it covers the forms, right, where a user comes in, which is the forms, right? And then once the forms is completed, that's where the business processes runs in. Business processes is the workflow side, right? The workflows moving. Then at some checkpoint, there might be some instances where workflow doesn't work. There is no action for that. There's no API that you can run using. That's where Nimtex has another module, RPA, right? The RPA can assist in area where workflow is unable to reach. Example, like you have a workflows and then suddenly the data needs to be copied to on-premise database, where that on-premise database, there is no an actual API that you can connect with. That's where part of Nimtex solution, it has an RPA as well, right? And just now, Evelyn also talked about the e-signature, where they acquire multiple third-party software that can further enhance the value for you guys. So that's where the digital signature comes in, as well as another component is DocuSign as well. Okay, so my first questions to Evelyn is that today's reality of business processes, knowing that we have been in most of us working from home due to various regulations side. Maybe yeah, Evelyn can show us a picture what is happening through her eyes for this 1-2 years time.
Yeah, so based on what I see, even during before the pandemic that happened last year, right? There's actually a lot of organization struggles to go into the digital transformation journey. Why is it so? Because there's a lot of silo applications and systems that they need to manage that doesn't integrate with each other. The lack of visibility of the core business processes, the lack of resources to meet business demands, as well as maybe lacking of the capability of the current tool and system. So with that, prior to the pandemic, a lot of organizations has been facing this issue. And as of last year itself, during the pandemic time, we do see a more need to actually move to this journey. Why? Because everyone is working from home. So in terms of getting approvals, as well as signatures, is more of a challenge than previously, because no one is in office. That's why a lot of organizations actually came into this journey to say that, look, this is the problem. We need to actually find a way to solve. How do we actually do digital transformation? How do we actually go on to this platform itself? Yeah.
Okay, good. So knowing that, Nimtex already here even before the pandemic, right? Because pandemic just started only. So yeah, we know that before the pandemic, yeah, even a digitalization process is a very painful process lah. Painful means like not a lot of people adopting, because most reasoning is that there is not such a big needs right before the pandemics. However, in right now, in reality, yeah, there is a strong needs, a strong business sense for digitalization for various purposes. So maybe Evelyn can, knowing that the scenario, how can the Nimtex Workflow Cloud, how Nimtex Workflow Cloud can assist in to help the customer or companies to go through this particular journey, yeah, and how maybe some companies are moving towards that direction lah.
Yeah. So, Robin, with your this question, right? Let me just share one slide on the Nimtex Workflow NWC, we call it. So Nimtex Workflow Cloud, if you have not heard of it, is actually a platform whereby you can use it to build processes, as well as mobile app and also form. Nimtex Workflow Cloud does not require any types of hardware deployment because it's on the cloud. So this is actually a next generation of a platform that enables IT or maybe BUs to automate their processes faster without the need to actually go through the traditional method whereby they need to actually rely on IT, they need to get developer, they need to develop it and do coding and things like that. And aside from that, NWC, right, we have a very extensive library of connectors that is able to integrate with other systems, so that your system will still stay as it is. We are here to actually integrate them together. We are not here to replace any types of processes or systems or application in that manner. And what you mentioned earlier on, Robin, things like RPA is also good to actually help streamline some of the automations, as well as integrations with legacy systems that we see. This is actually a complete digital transformation solution, because we can do end-to-end automation, integration with process mapping, document generation using our Nimtex DocGen, coupled with RPA as well as digital signature within the workflow itself to give you a seamless digital automation journey. So our workflow is actually quick to deploy. You can actually churn out simple processes within days itself. If let's say it does not require any sort of integration, it's a standalone kind of process or form. Yeah.
Okay, good, Evelyn. So I think the later on the demo, right, we will touch a little bit on the whole process lah, right? That covers both the front end side, starting from a user fill in the forms all the way how the information is being flow across, and also we'll have RPA built into that as well, right? Including a signature for that particular document, an e-signature. So that's for the demo later lah. So Evelyn, another quick questions. So um, how can you see, or how can Nimtex benefits the customer? We see what is NWC lah, right? And NWC is a cloud platform. So immediately I can see being cloud is easily to be accessible, right? User don't have to download and applications. It also translate like if they don't need to download, means like they don't have to do patches, they don't have to do updates on those software which are being done via automatically lah. So besides that, any other things that Nimtex can help out for the customer?
Yeah. So aside from that, right, I think in terms of the process management and automation part of things, it's easy to actually be onboarded because it can actually improve and prioritize processes quickly. Our NWC is actually agile enough. It's low code. That's one. Secondly is to build processes and form, right? Users need to use drag and drop methods. And we do integrate with other applications and third-party systems with our extensive library of connectors. If you don't have a readily available connectors, right, you can actually do things like integration through API and JSON and things like that. Then, like I emphasized earlier on, we can implement a particular process within days, if not weeks, and it's actually built for constant change. Last but not least, the workflow, our NWC is actually affordable. It's scalable, easy to update because you don't need to own the hardware and the software. Like Robin, what you mentioned, you don't need to actually do patches and things like that. All this has been, it will be maintained by Nimtex. And the total cost of ownership is very low. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe we can talk a little bit more on the pricing side later on, lah, right? And how really Nimtex for licensing side, it covers all the various components, right? Regardless whether it is forms or it is workflow, or you want to use RPA, or you want to use document generation. Actually, document generation is another area which is like very, very useful, right? Part of the demo, you can see the case study lah. Okay. So maybe Evelyn, you can share some of the use case of Nimtex, right? So at least as far as us as a customer, we can immediately have some idea, or like where to start or how to start. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So I can actually share some of the use case that in Nimtex itself, what have we seen so far? So let me just share. Nimtex is actually not just for a particular business unit. You can take it as a platform to actually automate different type of processes and applications that you have. So if you see in this particular slide, right, these are some of the key use cases that we have seen so far in terms of different types that serve different types of businesses. So we have things like insurance, banking, wealth management, healthcare providers, pharma, medical, industrial manufacturing, and public sector. Aside from that, within organization itself, also we do have extensive type of use cases, things like maybe leave application within HR, purchase requisition within the procurement, yeah, and so on and so forth. The list is very extensive. I mean, there's no stopping there in terms of the processes that we wish to automate as well. Maybe Robin, I also share some of the case study that we have, maybe just two case study that we recently have on Nimtex Workflow Cloud. So if you have seen, I mean, everyone has heard of Zoom already. Like it's not before. I mean, during the pandemic, I think a majority of the folks that is attending to this session, they have more or less has been using Zoom for their meetings and things like that. So during the pandemic time last year, Zoom was having a very big challenge to manage their orders because previously their orders is actually done in a manual manner. what they did is that they approached Nimtex to actually automate their order tracking and management process using Nimtex Sofo Cloud. So this actually integrates with their Zendesk as well as Salesforce to automate the entire stack on order intake. And with this approach, right, they actually able to increase their channel businesses by 5 times. And this able to boost the competitiveness within other products as well. That is one. Secondly, is a use case that is very near to us, which is National Gallery of Singapore. I think if let's say right now anyone that goes to National Gallery Singapore, right, they will need to fill in a visitor registration form. So this form itself, you will see the National Gallery staff holding it on an iPad. This form is actually built in Nimtex Workflow Cloud as well, and this use case, we actually take 3 days only to implement the entire solution. And we are able to submit about 50,000 visitor information forms that enables contact tracing during the COVID-19 crisis, which is now. Yep. So aside from that, all these details of the visitor information is actually recorded onto a SharePoint list for security purpose, so that anything is not actually outside, is within National Gallery's architecture and zone as well. Yeah.
Okay, I'm hearing like from these two scenario, like case study, like National Singapore Gallery is more on a registration form, visitor registration form, right? It's a forms, a simple forms, where the other one is more towards like you have to start, connecting more complicated kind of processes. So Evelyn, is there a benchmark, or like, oh, Nimtex is only for like, for a very simple processes, like a simple visitor forms, or it can be like for a very complicated processes where it could integrate with a lot of other databases or silo databases. Yeah, what is your take on that?
I would say Nimtex is there to actually able to fit into both types of scenario, things like simple processes, or maybe a complex one with, if not, maybe a lot of integrations with other type of system, other type of database, ERP, CRM, all these. We have seen it before, and we have done a numerous type of case study with all these organizations. Yeah.
Okay, very good, very good. So my next question is that for today's webinar lah, let's say for all our customers, what would be your idea of a key takeaway points for them, for those that are here today lah?
Mm. So in terms of organization itself, how they actually able to tackle all these challenges with digitization, right? In Intex itself, we go with these three key components. Manage, automate, as well as optimize. If you were to see in this slide itself, I think it paints a overall picture on what Intex capability is. You can actually do things like map and manage processes, digitization of forms, workflow automation, coupled with RPA, as well as document automation and digital signature. And last but not least, with our Nimtex API and connectors, right, we are actually able to integrate with a lot of systems out there. So this integration is that is not an issue as well. Yeah.
Good. So what is your suggestion, right, for how would customers start this journey? I'm looking at the charts, right? All the features and functions of Nimtex is very comprehensive. I'm looking at just now the charts. You have forms and processes, then you have docu generation, you have RPA. For a company to start, does it like they definitely have to start in order, means like they have to start with forms and workflow first. Then only they can proceed with document generation or e-signature or even RPA.
Yeah. What I would suggest is that for organization to actually go to this digital automation journey, is maybe to take a look at the key processes that you all use daily. Or maybe you are looking into something that is has been done manually, or is a silo kind of application that has no integration. You can consider to start as that at that kind of stage. Then from there, you can actually look into the automation piece first, whereby you can automate your forms and your workflow. Anything that needs to have some sort of integration with legacy system, maybe you all can actually consider the RPA part, or maybe there's a lot of documents that you are looking at to automate as well. Then .gen and also digital signature can come into play. So this is some of the key suggestions that I normally would share with my customer. Then last but not least, maybe you all will need to reach out to SRKK for some sort of consultation and advisory, yeah, so that they can also provide you the best scenario on how to go about your digital automation journey as well. Yeah.
And my last questions lah. I'm still looking at this slide. So it looks like everything revolves around cloud solutions. How about for those that still have on-premise, like they have on-premise servers, they need to do some kind of workflows, and then they have on-premise silo databases that maybe RPA can help. So does this solution, can still benefit them?
Yes, so Nimtex Workflow Cloud can able to integrate with your on-premise kind of databases as well as silo application. Our RPA is able to pull information from your on-premise applications, as well as pulling and inserting data from your on-premise solutions. Yes.
So for this Nimtex Workflow Cloud, as you all know that this is a digital transformation from your process end-to-end solutions, where you can do all the automation from process integration, and then DocuSign, docu-generate the documents, and also go into the digital signature. Okay, so before I go into the actual demo on how the system works, let me explain or brief you on the use case scenario that we're going to use here. Okay, so for the use case scenario here, I'm having here is a business loan applications. So let's say there is a case that you want to apply loan in the bank or some business purpose. So those application currently are in previous time, like we will have a manual form you have to fill in, and once you fill up, then there will be your admin that need to be key in all the related information into the system, which will go into the approval process and also the signature, and also the lastly will be saving the data into the system. But with this Nimtex Workflow Cloud, there is no any forms that need to be downloaded over to be fill in and then send for submissions, and which will be take like few days or time to process the flow. So here what we are looking at now is, let's say the customer applies a business loan through online web form, where the Nimtex will be convert the online form into PDF, and the PDF will be routed to the loan department for approval. So here what we are looking at is minimizing the process of waiting time to be submitted over manually, and also to reduce the manual form submissions. So where the users can just go into the web and online fill in, and the Nimtex, the process will be automatically converted into PDF. So there is no need for the users to manually upload and then send to the related for the approval and signature. So the Nimtex later will be route the PDF to loan department for approval and signature. And if it's a loan department has approved, then the e-signature will be there, okay, for them to sign, where once the signature has been completed, Nimtex will be automatically save the finalized document into SharePoint, OneDrive, or Google, or some other repository that we have configured. And later it will be sent the loan approval form to the customer. So this is a sample process, and with this process is basically involve all the online version. Let's say if you have your bank loan system, you have like some legacy system on premise. So in that case, we can send the information automatically to the system, the on-premise system, using this RPS. Evelyn and Robin was explaining just now, like the RPA, which will be automate the process and make it be like more easier, and it will have the process time, reduce the process time, and to help to automate all the process. Okay, so if there is any rejection, then it will be just send a notification to the customer. Okay, so for this demo purpose, what will be for this use case, the main things will be on the what will be the benefit of Nimtex Workflow Cloud is where there is no any repository that like standard application, form application, where you will need to have like database for you to save your data, and then from there it need to be generated into other documents and also related process flow. But with the Nimtex Workflow Cloud, we can have all of that to be minimized. Okay, uh, I'll show you the Nimtex Workflow Cloud, how it looks like first. Okay, you can see this will be the screen of Nimtex Workflow Cloud, where you can have the workflow processes. Okay, so the standard process of we creating one application or form digitalization is where you will be creating the form, and attached to the form we will be creating the workflow processes that will be defined on what will be do next, and later we will have some e-signature solution to be embedded on top of that forms digitalization to make the end-to-end solution. But with this Nimtex Workflow Cloud, we will have all the end-to-end automation process in this one screen or one page itself. Okay, where you can have this great workflow, which will be showing you on the process. And this is a way easier for the IT admins. Let's say if they want to create a new workflow or they want to customize the workflow that has been done. So this is way easier, and it will be very user friendly that you can just drag and drop all the actions here. So Nimtex has predefined some of the functions here, and we can just drag and try to configure for the process based on the requirement. Okay, so when we're creating the workflow, there is a form that has been need to be configured at the earlier stage. So you can select what kind of a form do you want, and you can have this designer, form designer, in the workflow process itself. So you will have all the fields over here where you can just drag and drop, and you can have the form to be ready just within like a few minutes if that is a very simple form. Okay, so this is how the development side looks like. But if we go into the actual process, okay, so let's assume this will be the bank loan application form, okay, where you will have these informations fields to be filled out. So you can see like the asterisk here will be the compulsory. So we can set the rules and conditions over here, which fields to be compulsory fill up and which one can be optional. And also we can have some kind of a rule setting, like for email it should be on the correct format, or the phone number, so we can have that set up here. Okay, so let me show you the how it works. Okay, so SSN. So I'll have this. So once you fill up, let's say you're going to submit over here, and you can see all of the condition settings says like you need to require these fields. Okay, so we will be fill up all of these items. Okay, you have this setup. You can have a checkbox. You can have a date fields, and even you can have some kind of a yes no checkbox for you to fill in. If let's say there is a yes needed, then you will need to attach some files over here, the attachment. So this condition check we can add it during the development of forms. Okay, so I will say no for all of this and submit. Okay, so once I submit the form, what will be happen next, and how do we can see like the process tracking. Okay, so for the Nimtex, we will have the dashboard that will show you the tracking of where the status is pending on. Okay, so it will take a few. Okay, so the form has been submitted. Okay, so now we can go into the dashboard. Okay, so in the dashboard you can have this status. Okay, these items that has been pending over here. So you can see all of these as the status and when has been initiated. So currently ours is running in the running stage, so I can just go in and I can see like at which stage it has been pending or which one has been completed. Okay, so you will see like the status. If there's any error here, then you will list down over here. Okay, so when I go into the form workflow process, okay, so you can see first the document will be generated and will get the loan purpose, means this is the information that I have filled in the document. So once the document has been filled in, it will be automatically generate the document into PDF form. So where do this PDF has saved? So the PDF, it can be configured whether do you want to save it in OneDrive or SharePoint or some other repository. So here we are using OneDrive, where okay, I have these two folders over here, completed and signed completed, and also this is a template. So the template, we can set it on how the form, how you want the form to be fill up the informations. So and how the format of the PDF should be done. So the completed and signed completed folders is meant to be the first. The completed will have, once you submit the form and once the form has been submitted, it will be generated into the PDF form. So you can have a look here. These are the information that I have submitted. So this will be the form that completed, but the approval is not yet. So means this is a incomplete forms without the approval, just a submission. And later, once the form has been signed, then you will be seeing the signed document generated into this folder. Okay, so as our process, after the document generated, it will be sent for signature. So the signature names we can predefine, or it can be based on the user input. Who do they want to sign for signature? If let's say it's going to go for the loan approval department, so they will be receiving the email on signature. So the email will be looks like this: bank loan as approval and review and sign. So clicking on this will bring you to the form, which will be get you to start the signature and complete the process flow. So you can see that if there is any messages, there is a message pop up, and will be have a start button which will require you to click and then go for signature. So you can just sign here and then just apply, or write down your name over here, or you can have the image. If you have your signature, you can just upload and just apply, and this will be the completion. Click to sign. So upon completion, okay, the signee can have a one copy downloaded, or else it will be automatically saved into this DocuGen template. So under this completed forms, you will be having the process to be completed. So after the generated, it will have the document to be saved as this signed completed. So this will be the overall process. So this will be the overall process of end-to-end solution. So from how we fill up the form and we'll go for the approval or the signature, and then it will be generate the form into the DocuSign, and lastly it will have the completed form. So you can see 24 with the date stamp. We can configure on how the format should be in. So let me zoom in here. You can have my approval with this name. So you in the in the signature, you will have some kind of an ID generated, which is for the security purpose and for the legality on this digital signature by Nimtex. Yeah. So this will be the Nimtex end-to-end solution. But in the case if you have a legacy system or the on-premise system in for your bank loan system, where you want to send those information to that or to save the data into there, what we can do is we can set it the RPA. So we can just drag and drop the RPA, and the RPA flow will be stopped. Okay, so let me just show you on simple demo on how the RPA will be look like. The RPA will be automatically generated. So here is the RPA. So once I start the RPA, it will be automatically start the opening window and will be creating the task each of it. It will be open the form, will be key in all the data. So let's say this one is your legacy system. So it will be automatically filling all the informations, and it will be saved into your data. So with that, it will be shorten the process of this saving the data into your on-premise. Yeah, so you can see it will be automatically open and close. So for more information on the RPA, maybe I'll get like Robin to explain further on this RPA flow. Yeah, Robin, over to you.
Ken, Anita,
Yeah.
thank you. Let me share my slide lah, real quick, right?
Thank you.
RPA is a good stuff actually. So coming back to Nimtex side, right? The Nimtex end-to-end solution. So what we have seen, yes, to capture the forms, the loan applications lah. That's the form of capturing. Then throughout the whole process, then you have an approval, right? Approval can be single approval, it can be multiple approval. Again, within the same flow, right? Within the same flow, you can do that. Then at some point of time, she also show on document generations, right? Document generation, that's where like once you approve a certain set of informations, that approval will be saved into your documents in Word document lah. Then inside the Word document, the final end result is converted to PDF, right? But you have the ability to push your information automatically to a document set. So typically, traditionally, to do that, you would have to like, yes, I ask my boss to approve certain set of data. Once he approves, I need to fill in manually into that legal document or a contract document, any type of document lah, right? After I fill in all the legal document or contract document, then I need to submit this document for them to sign, for some people to sign up, right? So that's the manual process. So within Nimtex, you can do it all with a single stream of flow. So that means DocuGen allows you to, yes, push in all the right informations, and after that, get for signature, right? And at the same time, if there were informations that you wanted to feed into your legacy system or a silo system, or a system that, you know, due to security reason or whatnot, you cannot have a connection into those systems. That's where you would use RPA. So within the same flow of Nimtex, you can insert the RPA and push it out. So just now, Anita showed a really quick video on RPA, which that particular purpose is to fill in your forms automatically, right? So RPA is something like anything that you want to automate to create that you can mimic your key user, your user input within your screen using mouse, your click. Then you can translate that as a workflow. And then even better, this particular workflow will be part of your whole Nimtex work processes. So that's the beauty of Nimtex. Just give me one more minute, so I'm running out of time for Q&A. So this is the comprehensive Nimtex, all the function and features. So what I want to highlight is first on the left-hand side, right? So Nimtex brings you the journey step by step, starts from manage, right? It will even help you to plan. It has a whole lot of checklists, or even to do mapping. That's where one of the Nimtex solution is called ProMap, right?
Sorry,
So,
Robin, are you
yep,
sharing your screen?
yeah, now cannot see, is it?
Yeah.
Cannot see, then let me reshare.
I can see as now.
Oh, you can see, is it? It's okay. I reshare again.
Share again.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. This is real quick lah, just 1 minute lah, so I don't take up too much time. So, for these whole solutions, Nimtex really bring us the journey together. First, during the manage process, right? It will help us to do the planning, and it will do the mapping. For example, nowadays you already have processes, but you need to fine tune those processes, or you want to translate from a manual process to digital. It has the tools for you, right? And the next one is to automate. Then Nimtex Journey help us to create forms and mobile to create workflows and RPA, DocuGen, and e-signature, right? So all of these can work independently or it can work together. For example, if you only require DocuGen and e-signature, you can deploy just that particular module. If you only require RPA or some kind of workflow integrations, you can do that. Or if you only require forms that user can straight away access, for example, the visitor registration forms, right? I just want that. You can just create forms for your users, and then it's scalable, means that you can add all the other components. And lastly, the Nimtex Journey help you to optimize, right? It has the monitoring capabilities on how and give you some performance indexes. Okay. Yep. Good. So with this is the end of the demo side. I'll pass back to Zeti for Q&A session. So maybe while waiting, Evelyn, maybe you can explain a little bit on the product matching with the licensing structure lah.
Sure, Robin. So just on a high level kind of manner in terms of the pricing itself, our product, right? How we do it is that you can do it a la carte. That's one way, because we have things like the Nimtex Pro Map, the Nimtex RPA, workflow and form comes together. DocGen as well as Nimtex Sign. Nimtex Sign is actually powered by Adobe Sign, but if you have your own digital signature that you are using, you can actually continue on leveraging on that, because NWC is able to integrate with either Nimtex Sign as well as Adobe Sign. On the license itself, I don't think I would want to go into the pricing exactly. I think I would rather let the audience to reach out to you also, that you all can work out on a more comprehensive kind of package in terms of the project deployment plus the software that is required. Yeah. So another good thing about our in Nimtex itself, if let's say you are looking into RPA as well as workflow, we have one component which is the Nimtex Enterprise, Nimtex NWC Enterprise, which enables you to actually mix and match between workflow as well as workflow. So if let's say you were to look into maybe buying a package of 10, this 10 itself, you can deploy maybe 2 of that as a workflow, which is the RPA, and the remaining 8 as a workflow. So you can actually combine in a mix and match kind of manner to actually help to maybe start off your digitization journey. Yeah.
Okay, good. Thank you, Evelyn. I'm looking at the chat group lah. There's one question which is very good. So the question is, what's the difference between Power Automate and your software? Yeah.
I guess out there everyone is actually doing comparison things like other types of BPM tools as well. So for Power Automate, if you have been in the BPM market, I mean, you've been looking around and things like that, you have known that Power Automate actually just came into play, I think maybe early last year or the year before. So it might not be as mature as the likes of Nimtex, because we have been in the market since 2006 in that matter. We started off with a very strong partnership with Microsoft, because our first Nimtex workflow actually needs to integrate together with SharePoint. Yeah.
Good. I think on top of that, I can add a little bit lah, right? Power Automate they have a different version of Power Automate, right? One version, it comes together with your M365, right? And then with M365, it does has limitations in terms of the capability where you need to connect data sources outside from your M365. Let's say if you want to create add connections to an ERP systems, or let's say if you want to do RPA, you couldn't do that using M365 licensing, right? So that's where for Power Automate, you need to scale up to the premium version of Power Automate, where premium version Power Automate is has the capability to connect to share different databases. Premium version also have the add-ons. If you need RPA, Power Automate plus RPA, you can do that as well. So all of these components you have to add in as you need it, right? Compared to Nimtex is one license, regardless whether you want to start small first, simple forms, or you want to have integration with your ERP system or even RPA. So a license can cover all of those, right? But I hope that answer your questions.
Okay. All right. So now we doesn't have any question. I think we can stop our webinar here. Thank you for all to joining our event today. Please feel free to contact Robin if you have any inquiry on this webinar. You can email or you can call as stated here. All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Have a
you.
nice day. Bye.